So Liz, how you doing today?
Good.
Good. Okay, before we start, I'm going to remind you of the confidentiality again. That anything said between us stays between us, unless otherwise you're threatening to hurt yourself or somebody else. Then I have to get somebody else involved. Is that okay?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, on your intake last week, you had discussed what I got from what you were telling me is that you seem to always end up at the bottom after relationships, and you're tired of doing the same old cycle. And then you had also mentioned about something about your ex-husband, that you might feel it might have started with him just because of issues that y'all had. Is this true or not? I mean, did I hear you right?
Yeah. Pretty much ever since then, it's been just a horrible experience dating.
Okay. So tell me. Let's start with your husband. Tell me about him.
Well, first of all, I guess they say opposites attract.
Okay.
I came from a really, I guess, kind of wealthy family. Grew up, with getting pretty much whatever. I won't say whatever I wanted or whatever, but I had nice things. He didn't grow up that way. He also grew up in South Africa.
Okay.
On top of that, and the way they treat women there, and the way they're viewed in a marriage, they're like there to reproduce and beck and call pretty much for the man. If they don't succumb to his every command, then of course they are beaten for it.
And that was how they were in the area that he lived. That's how they. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess the lower down the financial status or social status that you get, I guess the worse it kind of was. And I think him not having any kind of religious upbringing, having grown up there, it had a lot to do with some of the things. I mean, at first though, we got along really good, and he was kind of open to certain things. But then he got laid off from his job right about the time that I found out that I was pregnant with Leah, and he was just kind of mad at the world. I mean, he wasn't finding faith in God, and that was for sure. He started using drugs. He started off being, just very verbal, verbally abusive. Then he started throwing things, becoming a little more physical. And then after I had Leah, he actually began putting his hands on me. He never did anything to her, but I mean, he would do these things in front of her. Even though she's just a baby, she's like, she would never cry, but she would still see it,
Yeah.
And I think that still has a lasting impression on her also.
Okay.
Anytime anybody makes me upset now, it's almost like that feeling that she got as a baby from watching her daddy. She still gets that same feeling, and she will cling to me like there's no tomorrow, and until she knows that her mommy's gonna be okay. So it's not just him. My relationship with him didn't just affect me; it's her too.
Yeah.
And it's hard with her to have to, go with him every other weekend and not go to church one weekend and then go to church one weekend.
Well, tell me, because of the way you say y'all were raised different. I heard you right when you said this, right?
Yeah.
Tell me then, what were your expectations of the way you were raised when you went into a marriage?
My family was always, we were very affectionate. We were, cousins, little second cousins, third cousins. It didn't. If we had a birthday, we would call them. We were very close. Even our more distant family, not just our immediate family, like most people. And with him, he wasn't. They weren't like that at all. They were real kind of distant, and they weren't affectionate, and they didn't communicate and talk. And I think that is something that you have to have in order for a marriage to work, is you have to be able to talk and communicate. And even if you're mad about something, you should voice your opinion about it first, you know, and let it be known that it bothers you or you're upset. But he wouldn't do that. He would just explode, and or he wouldn't say anything, and then I would continue to do it because I didn't know that it was making him mad, and then he would really explode. So I guess, you know, I wasn't expecting him to turn out like that. I was expecting a marriage to be more like how I grew up, you know.
Was it like that when y'all were dating? Did you see signs of the way he turned into?
No, not really. I mean, like I said, he was kind of real open to, you know, other ideas, suggestions, whatever. And then, as you know, time kind of progresses, the more like he was putting his hand on top of my head and trying to hold me down, you know, to see how far down he could push me to where I would be dependent upon him. And he gradually took away the things that made me happy, or the things that I believed in. You know, he took away church. I couldn't go to church. I couldn't really go anywhere because he wouldn't get the tags or inspection on my car. And just little things that were, you know, kind of he immobilized me. I remember we moved into the last house that we lived in together. He wouldn't even get the cable or phone hooked up there. So, and I didn't have a cell phone. So I had no way of communicating with nobody. I couldn't drive my vehicle because it wasn't legal, and I had a baby. We had other vehicles, but he made sure that they stayed where the company job was, or he had to let a friend borrow it or whatever, you know. Things that you just don't do to people.
Tell me how all these experiences affected your future relationships. Relationship since, I should say.
Well, after that, I really wouldn't date anybody. I became extremely independent, and I've been having a hard time gaining back. But when I finally did start to date, I was very cautious, you know, about, you know, moving in with anybody, or even living in the same, you know, dwelling together, you know. I needed my kind of safety net where I could go with me and Leah, and it was ours, and couldn't nobody take it away from us. And the last 2 relationships that I've been in, I kind of gave in against my better judgment, and I even, you know, recall with the very last one saying, I really don't want to do this. I know if I do, it's going to end up going the same way it did with the last one. And sure enough it did, you know. But I have a hard time trusting anyone. If I do move in with them, or they say, oh, you don't have to work, I really don't feel comfortable about it, and I still try to kind of somewhat maintain my own little bit of freedom to go do what I want to do, just because if I don't have that, then I can't, it's like I can't be around, it's like I almost can't be around them. I don't even want to be around them because I don't want to, I don't know how to say it, I don't want to hear it from them that, no, you can't, you know. So with the last one, I stayed in my daughter's room all the time. You know, me and her hung out more than I hung out with him, which was probably one of the reasons it didn't work out. But when he started showing signs of taking control a little bit here and a little bit there, and taking it away from me, or taking that little bit of independence that I had away from me, I completely pull away.
Okay, so what I hear you say is that you know you have the trust issues, and you know where things will start, but you just don't know how to get from point A to point B, where you end up back on the bottom again with nothing. despite your independence?
I really don't know, because even with the last one that that I dated, I mean, even some of my closest friends thought, you're safe. It's okay, Kelly. You don't. I mean, you don't have to worry. And I did. I needed to worry. Um, he- Stacy did so many things to me.
Stacy's your ex-husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And he did so many things, just out of deliberately doing them, like the no phone, the no cable, the no internet, the thing with the vehicle now, and to this day now, and this has been 10 years ago, I cannot stand being without a vehicle even really for one day. I have to have some mode of transportation. I don't care if it's a bicycle, something. I have to have a way to go somewhere. If I don't, I literally I will start getting anxious and mad and I get extremely frustrated, and I can't, I'll stress myself out to the point where I'm sick.
Yeah.
Just different things like that have just really taken a toll on me.
Well, I think a good starting point is that if you, this week, until we meet next week, is just to make notes about certain things that really trigger, like you say, like if I heard you say the anxiety, and really trigger it, and maybe we can start with each one of those and just go down to where maybe we can break this cycle of anxiety to where it doesn't lead into something else.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a plan?
That does sound like a good plan.
Okay, well then we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, thank you.